Hey, ready to go? Well, on a beautiful Brisbane day, it's amazing to be here at Suncorp Stadium to enjoy the final day of 2021 Magic Round. And the very good news is that we'll see the NRL Magic Round back here at Suncorp Stadium in 2022. This is an event that's injecting some more than $20 million into the local economy. We've seen it deliver crowds of in excess of 40,000 each and every day, 41,000 on Friday night, over 45,000 on Saturday, and predicted to be more than 40,000 today. We've also seen 25,000 plus visitors come to Brisbane from outside the state, come to Brisbane from interstate and across the ditch in New Zealand. This is all adding great support to our local economy, and in particular our local visitor economy here in Brisbane, which through the impacts of the pandemic has been doing it tough in so many ways. So this has been a huge boon for our local visitor economy operators, the hotels, the pubs, the clubs, hospitality venues right across the city, particularly in the CBD. It's been a great outcome. So we're very committed to working with the NRL to celebrate this success, not only this year and next year, but we want to talk to them further about taking it further and making this a permanent fixture. I'm very pleased that they are very keen to have those negotiations and conversations, but I certainly think, like Origin, like Grand Final Day, this is one of the great traditions of the NRL, and making it a permanent fixture in Brisbane would certainly add to the great traditions of rugby league here in Queensland. Well, in essence, we reiterated the why Brisbane is, one of the great heartlands of rugby league, and that adds value to the NRL and their product, and certainly they're recognising that with their commitment to and engagement on a second Brisbane team in the competition for 2023. So it makes sense to have the NRL commit to, for 2022 at least, the Magic Round here in Brisbane. But we know that this is the basis for a further very good engagement and conversation.
Is there a cost to the Queensland government to secure it for another year?
Well, we've been able to provide support to the NRL to make this a reality each and every year that we've done it. So in 2019, it was delayed last year, this year, and now for 2022. That support is commercial in confidence, but it's certainly delivering $20 million worth of economic value to the city. It's very worthwhile in terms of what tourism and events Queensland do, and the support that we do provide through Stadiums Queensland. Well, I'm a Dragons supporter, and I know that's not a popular thing in Brisbane, but that's the way it is. My uncle played for them for many years, so it's a bit of a family thing. So I'll be supporting them today. I know it'll be a tough road against the Storm, but that's the beauty of Magic Round, is people can come from across the spectrum of rugby league support and enjoy their favourite team, all 16 teams here at Suncorp Stadium, providing an extraordinary spectacular.
And when it comes to locking it in for more years after next year, what's the stumbling block there? Are we trying to fight off some other cities, or is the NRL asking for more money?
I certainly think because it's such a successful product, because it's such an exciting opportunity that clearly brings people from across the country to enjoy Suncorp Stadium, the best rectangular stadium in the country, and the atmosphere that the full round of the NRL brings. There are other cities that are interested. They want to have a slice of that action. So we understand that. We've got to have a good conversation with the NRL, but we know that we've got the product, we've got the facility that can supply it, and we've got a proven track record of showing that it's successful. So that'll be part of our conversation, but we won't rest on our laurels. We'll keep working with them to make sure that we have an outcome that sees what we believe should be it becoming a permanent fixture, it becoming one of the real traditions of the NRL and of rugby league, of having Magic Round here at Suncorp Stadium.
So just to be clear, it is the interstate competition that is stopping it from being a permanent fixture already?
The negotiation we had already was always going to be about one more year, but beyond that we want to have a conversation and a negotiation that makes that maybe a longer term commitment. In the same way that Sydney has achieved a commitment with the NRL about the grand final being hosted there for quite a long period of time. We think it's only right and proper that Brisbane, one of the great markets for rugby league, should be the home of the Magic Round.
So that comes to the table.
Okay, Cody, do you support the increase of having repatriation flights into Brisbane?
Well, having repatriation flights to a number of destinations in Australia, including Brisbane, was part of the decision of the National Cabinet. So we do welcome that. We know that there are very stringent and significant measures in place by the federal government to ensure that this is done safely. But we equally know that it's going to be very welcome news to so many Australians, so many Queenslanders who have family returning, or wanting to see those family returning from India and other places. So it's important that we support that repatriation and do it efficiently and effectively, and that's what the National Cabinet decision has provided for.
Are you afraid of the risks?
Making sure we have the right measures in place, the screening that is happening before people come on to those repatriation flights, and then the appropriate quarantine and assessment processes upon arrival. That's all being managed by the federal government and under the arrangements agreed to by National Cabinet. So we understand that it's important that this is handled very, very well, and that's certainly the commitment that was made at that National Cabinet level.
Just on paramedics, Sterling, some claims either by the union that these roster changes are causing some troubles, keeping short staff, causing all sorts of headaches. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, my advice is that these arrangements aren't causing those problems. The overwhelming demand is the main thing causing challenges. And while QES, I know, is committed to wanting to have a flexible workplace, its number one commitment is to meeting the demands based that are on the service. So they will continue to make decisions around all sorts of arrangements, including rostering, that are focused on meeting demand. So that'll be the first priority of the Queensland Ambulance Service.
Are patients in any sort of danger here if this roster issue continues?
As I say, the focus of the QIS will be on meeting demand. That's overwhelmingly challenged by the level of demand. And part of the issues that we're dealing with here in terms of demand on our ambulance service, demand on our hospital service, all of our health and hospital systems, is a consequence of the huge amount of influx of demand that's happening on our systems, but also the challenges of the bottlenecks at the other end when we don't have the level of support from the Australian government for getting people who really should be in aged care facilities out of our hospital system. So there's a range of dynamics that are causing these challenges, but first and foremost, people should have confidence in a Queensland Ambulance Service that is very much focused on meeting those demands.
And Sterling, just finally, a few issues that you've had with handball today. GPS trackers on youth event starts tomorrow. This is a pretty positive sign in the fight against youth crime.
Well, it's certainly great to see that there's further steps being taken to implement the response that the Palaszczuk government has brought together. And very importantly, this measure coming into play tomorrow in relation to the GPS trackers is in line with the recommendation of well-respected former Police Commissioner Bob Atkinson. I think Bob Atkinson's consideration and work on this area is something that everyone can have a lot of confidence in, and this is one of those measures that he recommended, and so it's very welcome that this comes into play tomorrow and that the trial starts and we can see how it genuinely has an impact. On the day when the National Road Safety Week commences, it's entirely appropriate to pause and reflect on how disappointing it is that we have a road toll this year that is higher than it was at the same time last year. In fact, some 20 fatalities higher. That's truly tragic, truly disappointing, and I guess gives us an opportunity to pause for thought and make sure everyone reflects on how important it is that when we're out on the roads, we be conscious of that fatal 5, and that we be very careful, because we know one small slip, one small moment of inattention can cause tragedy. So it's vitally important that we use these opportunities like National Road Safety Week to pause to reflect on what we can do to improve road safety, and we encourage everyone to have those same thoughts as well. Well, we've seen this last week our $100 million commitment to improving the situation, responding to the demand circumstances that are affecting our ambulance service and our hospital systems. The Palaszczuk government since 2015 has added an extra 800 paramedics to our system. We've got a commitment over this 4-year term of adding a further 475. Those sorts of inputs into the system are clearly going to help, but we always know we've got to keep an eye on what are the things that can make the biggest change. And that's where it's vital that we work together and encourage the federal government to take up their responsibilities in relation to aged care and the impact it has on the whole of our health system. And that flows through to the challenges that are faced by our ambulance service.
Thank you.
Thanks all. I'm going to go and enjoy the footy.
Yeah.